Welcome to Hardly. Each book is distilled into 3 stories, giving you the key ideas in minutes. Today, we study together Joseph Cox's Dark Wire, the incredible true story of the largest sting operation in history, in which we probe into the rise and fall of Phantom Secure, the encrypted phone company for global crime syndicates, how undercover agents infiltrated Owen Hanson's drug empire through an elaborate sting operation, the global chase for criminals using encrypted devices to hide their networks. Joseph Cox is an award-winning investigative journalist and has been the world's leading reporter on Annam, writing exclusive stories on it for Vice Media's Motherboard. Don't go away. Hardly the editor will be right back with the story. Owen Hanson knew something was wrong when his Mexican drug boss, El Jefe, warned him that his upcoming meeting at the golf course could be with DEA agents, not business partners. But Hanson, a man running a multi-million-dollar gambling and drug smuggling empire, had a plan. He relied heavily on Phantom Secure, an encrypted phone company trusted by global crime syndicates to protect their illicit dealings from law enforcement. His confidence came from the phone's promise of unbreakable security. Yet, as Hanson arrived at the course that morning, agents swarmed him before he could even grab his bag. In a flash, it was all over. Hanson's phone, the very tool he trusted to secure his operation, became his downfall. In the race against time, FBI agents knew that Hanson's encrypted messages had to be retrieved before Phantom Secure sent a wipe command. If they couldn't access those messages, his drug empire might slip away. Fortunately for them, Hanson had made a crucial mistake. He hadn't changed the default passcode on his phone. By the time Phantom Secure sent the command, the FBI had the phone locked in a Faraday bag, and they quickly gained access to his messages. Hanson's story reminds us that even the most secure systems can fail when human error comes into play. The lesson here is simple. In any operation, it's often the smallest mistakes that unravel the grandest of plans. While Hanson's empire crumbled in the US across the globe, another figure was finding new ways to outmaneuver authorities. Hakan Ayik, dubbed the Facebook gangster by the media, had been on the run for years, dodging law enforcement from Australia to Cyprus, Dubai, and Turkey. He too used Phantom Secure phones to manage his sprawling drug empire remotely. In 2010, Ayik barely escaped capture at a Cypriot border, crossing after a botched arrest attempt. But the real turning point came when Ayik took a leap of faith on Phantom Secure's encrypted phones. With these devices, he was able to maintain control over his network from afar, even while hiding in Turkey. Ayik's story is not just one of evasion, but of innovation. By distributing these phones to his crew, Ayik modernized how criminals communicated. Encrypted phones became a tool not just for avoiding detection, but for running entire operations without ever setting foot in the same country as the drugs he trafficked. It was a new era of remote-controlled crime. However, this reliance on technology also set the stage for future vulnerabilities. Criminals may have thought they had the upper hand with encryption, but Ayik's rise and global reach would ultimately shine a spotlight on Phantom Secure, alerting law enforcement to the growing threat these devices posed. His network may have remained secure for a time, but the very technology he relied on would soon face intense scrutiny. The Phantom Secure Company, founded by Vincent Ramos, provided the technical backbone for criminals like Hanson and Ayik. Ramos, a businessman with no criminal past, built his company on the premise that he wasn't responsible for what his clients did with his phones. In one conversation with a friend, he compared his business to selling guns. It wasn't his job to police what happened after the sale. But as law enforcement across the world became aware of the encrypted phone problem, Ramos found himself under increasing pressure. Phantom Secure's success was driven by its ability to stay ahead of law enforcement. However, in 2016, things took a turn when authorities seized one of their key clients' phones and managed to crack the encryption. This marked the beginning of the end for the company. For years, Phantom Secure had supplied encrypted phones to thousands of users, many of whom were involved in drug trafficking, arms dealing, and other serious crimes. The company's promise of uncrackable communication had given criminals a sense of invincibility. But as the FBI and other agencies closed in, that invincibility began to crack. Ramos's belief in the legal gray area his company operated in wasn't enough to protect him from the law. Ramos's story shows that while you can build a fortress, the foundation matters. And when the foundation is built on moral ambiguity, it can only hold for so long. The downfall of Phantom Secure not only brought Ramos's empire crashing down, but also exposed a global network of criminals who had relied on encrypted phones to hide their activities. In the end, it wasn't just about the technology. It was about the ethics of enabling crime, whether directly or indirectly. These three stories illustrate the complex intersection of technology, crime, and law enforcement. Hanson's downfall reminds us that no system is foolproof. Human error can break even the strongest of security. Ike's rise shows the innovative ways criminals adapt to globalized operations, but also the risks they face when their tools become too visible. And Ramos's story highlights the ethical dilemmas faced by those who provide the infrastructure for illicit activities, showing that no one is truly untouchable when the law catches up. As the editor of Hardly, by studying these stories, we learn that in the future, criminals and law enforcement will engage in an ever-evolving battle of technology and trust. Understanding both sides of this fight may be the key to staying ahead. Each story comes from the most representative real-life cases selected by the Hardly team from this book. Beyond these three gripping tales, there are 15 other must-read stories that dive deep into the world of undercover operations, encrypted communication, and the global war on crime. If you wish to dive deeper, we recommend purchasing the full book. To wrap up, let's revisit the three key points of this book. The rise of Phantom Secure as the go-to encrypted phone company for criminals, the undercover operation that took down Owen Hanson's empire, and the global chase that exposed the extent of illegal networks relying on encrypted devices. Each story reveals how technology both empowers and exposes criminal operations. One more story worth mentioning involves the infamous Annam Sting operation, where law enforcement created a fake encrypted phone service. Criminals around the world, believing Annam to be a secure network like Phantom Secure, flocked to it. They had no idea the system was entirely controlled by the FBI and other global agencies. As criminals openly communicated about their illegal activities, sending details of drug shipments and organized hits, law enforcement monitored everything. This sting led to the arrest of over 800 individuals and the seizure of vast quantities of drugs and weapons. What's fascinating is how easily the criminals trusted a new technology, underlining the critical role trust plays in the digital underworld. The story serves as a reminder that the tools criminals rely on can quickly become the very things that betray them. By understanding these dynamics, we see how both criminals and law enforcement are in a constant race, each trying to outsmart the other. Trust, technology, and timing are always at play,